Another weekend of spring ball is in the books. Let's kick off the new week by opening up the mailbag. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Monday, March 3rd, 2025. This is Titan Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll be opening up the mailbag and answering your Mariners questions like we do here every Monday. But before we do, quick shout out to our title sponsor today, FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. And if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. Ross wants to know, just for fun, which Mariners starter would be the biggest monster out of the pen?
Brian Wu.
Yeah, the fastballs. You need a strikeout, I'd probably go with Brian Wu.
I mean, you need a dominant pitch coming out of the bullpen, right? And the best pitch in this Mariners bullpen or in the Mariners rotation is probably Brian Wu's fastball.
Not Bryce Miller's splitter? Not Logan's splitter?
No, I said what I said. So,
right.
Yeah, I think Brian Wu. And plus, Wu is already throwing like 95, 96, 97. Like, if you just went full reliever and you added some violence to the delivery, who knows what he might hit, 102 with that movement. So, yeah, probably Wu. And, this is something to keep in mind if the Mariners get into the playoffs where, the shorter series, they're going to move some of their starters into the bullpen. And I imagine that would probably be Wu anyways. So yeah, it's, I think any of them could do it pretty well. But I just feel like Wu is best equipped right now to just kind of be like a shutdown reliever, especially since you only need him to go for an inning. He can just kind of let it all go.
Yeah, I think Bryce would be really good at it too, with that splitter and cranking it up on the heater.
Yeah.
But like you said, anyone could probably do it very well. J-Rod Show Junkie 44 wants to know, do you guys personally have any prospects you deem untouchable in trade talks, and if so, who? The answer is no. Now, there's obviously some guys that I'd be particular about who I would trade them for. Colt Emerson is the closest to untouchable that I would say. But even then, I would consider trading him if the right piece was available.
Sure. If we're talking like untouchables for like a rental, then yeah, it's like Emerson, Young.
You wouldn't trade Young for like a really good rental? You wouldn't trade Young for a couple of months of Vlad?
No.
A couple of months of Kyle Tucker?
No.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I think I would.
Oh, that's because you hate Cole Young. Confirmed.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like multiple years of a player, no, nobody's untouchable. You just have to be pretty smart about the return that you'd get. So like we could say that Colt Emerson is pretty much untouchable, but if the Guardians come to you and you're like, hey, you want Jose Ramirez? All of a sudden everybody's on the table now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like, technically, no. I think Emerson is about as close to untouchable as you can realistically get in the game because nobody is coming to you and being like, hey, you want Mookie Betts? We'll take Colt Emerson for him.
Yeah.
That's not happening. And so like anybody who we reasonably think could be traded, I don't think that I would trade Colt Emerson for them as things stand right now.
Yeah. Who is a multi-year guy right now, specifically a multi-year position player that we think is going to get traded in the next year or two? I can't think of really anyone other than Luis Robert.
Yeah, and he's not going to cost you that.
Yeah.
Maybe Devers.
Maybe Devers, yeah.
Yeah.
But with that money, the Mariners are not even going to try.
No, and that's the other thing
sad.
too, right? Is that I can't think of anybody. But that's fine. Like imagine a year ago today being like, yeah, we're going to say the Blue Jays should trade Vlad Jr. And here we are. So you never know. These things change. But as things sit right now, no, there are no true untouchables. I don't think there ever really are. Not with prospects anyways, but in a very practical sense, Emerson's pretty much it. I would say as the most untouchable, and then everybody else, it's all on a spectrum. It's all a sliding scale. But yeah, I'd say Emerson is the closest thing to untouchable, but no, he is absolutely not. If the right deal comes along, you can trade him.
If you had to rank like your top 5, would it be different than your top 5 actual prospects?
Like the top 5 guys, I work really hard not to trade right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Sanja's probably in that top 5. Like I would rather trade. I think I'd rather trade Young than Sanja just because of where the pitching's at with this club, and obviously Logan and George. Who knows what their future is going to hold with the club. But Emerson would be in it. Yeah, it probably would, because like I'm open to trading Fellman, like even for not a star player, just because he's so far away. But
because your top 5 was Emerson, Young, Celestin, Farmelo, and Arroyo. That was your personal top 5.
I would trade any of the 5, but I think I'd rather trade Arroyo or Fellman or even Farmelo than I would like Sanja. But again, that's just because of proximity and positional value and all that stuff. So yeah, no, I think Emerson is the closest thing. And even I would trade Emerson for like multiple years of a, 5-6 win player. Yeah, I would trade him for that.
We are going to answer more of your questions in just a moment, but first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you once again by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late-game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is super easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. It is Mailbag Monday. Let's get back into your questions. Oh boy. All right. Ty Dangerous Gonzalez at I Love Thanksgiving. Not Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. If you could choose one current Mariners prospect and see into the future and know exactly how their career plays out, which prospect would it be and why?
Easy answer.
Felton and Celestin, right?
He's got the highest upside, right?
Yeah.
But and he's got actual legitimate trade value right now. And if you could see into the future and know he was going to be a bust, you trade, or if he was just going to be okay, you'd trade him now. Or you'd trade him, in a year. I guess you would see his whole career, so you know exactly when to trade him. But he also has that star potential. So if you trade him, before he realizes it, then you're probably not going to do that well in that trade. And so, yeah, I think Fellman is, because there's just such a wide variety there's just a wide variance of what he can do in his career. Like, you don't want to accidentally trade away Francisco Lindor, but you might have to. But hey, you know what? Maybe you're just trading away Carlos Guillen, who's pretty good still, but like he's not Francisco Lindor. Or maybe you're just trading away, a 20-year-old who flames out at AA. Who knows? So yeah, Fellman is the easy answer for me.
Yeah, he's the easiest answer. I'll also throw in Las Montes. I'm just really curious of how that dude's career is actually going to turn out. Is he actually like Carlos Peguero, or is he Yordan Alvarez, or is he somewhere in the middle, which is probably the likeliest outcome?
Yeah, I think he's pretty clearly second. I think third probably is Michael Arroyo. Like
Arroyo or Emerson for me.
Yeah, like these teenagers that have this wide variance of what they could be, and their ceiling is maybe superstar and their floor is never getting to the big leagues. Like those are the guys.
I mean, might as well throw in Jorge Bautista as well.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a Ryan Sloan, like in the top 5 or 10 or so. Yeah. That's a good call. But for guys like Sanja and Young, you just kind of feel like have a pretty good grasp of what they're likely going to be.
Carmelo's a sneaky answer here too.
Yeah, could be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, Feldman's number one.
Yeah, Feldman for sure. And then I go Laz 2, and then either Emerson or Arroyo 3.
Yeah.
Gotta also mention Ty Pete.
Yeah.
Deep Hanky wants to know, is your confidence level on the infield defense even lower than the bullpen based on what you've seen so far this spring compared to your expectations going in? JP and Bliss had a combined 5 errors and only 27 chances prior to Sunday's game. The infield is my biggest concern with this team, independent of defense. It was heading into the offseason. They obviously didn't do a whole lot in the offseason to address it. So, yeah, therefore, it is still my biggest concern with the team.
I mean, to his credit, Miles Mastrobuoni is on some kind of like solo mission to completely change that narrative. Sure. But, no, I'm not concerned about JP Crawford or Ryan Bliss's defense. I'm not really concerned about Luke Raley's defense or even Donovan Solano's defense. Or Dylan Moore's. I'm pretty concerned about Jorge Polanco. That is a premium position, and we haven't even seen him yet, take the field yet. He's DHing today. So, to me, I am more worried about the infield than I am the bullpen right now. The bullpen seems to be trending in the right direction. The infield, I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I'm not. My concerns with the infield is not JP Crawford and Ryan Bliss defense. With the bullpen, fine.
Even if it is a problem, that's an easier fix, a much easier fix mid-season than the infield. So, and that's not to say that they will fix the bullpen, but it's just there's a much easier path to fixing the bullpen than there would be with the infield if it does prove to be a major problem for them.
Right. I mean, plus, the bullpen right now, it's like you're getting Spire back. Hopefully you're getting Santos back. Hopefully. Yeah. And you're hopefully getting Brash back. Like you're getting, in theory, if everything goes well, you're getting 3 high leverage quality arms that you didn't have for most of last year back. In the infield, you're basically running it back minus your best defensive player. I get it, but my concern for the infield has very little to do with defense, except for at third base. But I do have legitimate questions about how that infield offense is going to. JP's got questions, Demo's got questions, Polanco. So I'm more concerned about the infield than I am the bullpen. Nothing to do with defense up the middle, at least.
Yeah, it's just generally the position group. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about it tomorrow. So. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Got a couple more questions to go over here. We got one from Max. What are the chances Ryan Bliss or Miles Mastrobuoni can win the starting second base job over Dylan Moore? If you had it your way, who would you want your starting second baseman to be out of those 3? 0% chance that it's Miles Mastrobuoni. 0. Maybe he makes the team, but he's not taking the starting second base job from either Bliss or Moore. I think maybe Bliss could actually win this thing. He's looked pretty good in spring, but I also don't want to overvalue spring performance here, especially when, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum is Dylan Moore right now. I don't think he even has a hit yet in the spring. So I don't want to overreact too much to the spring numbers, but Bliss does look pretty good so far. And, if Bliss was the starting second baseman, then you could get Moore back into his preferred role, just playing a little bit of everywhere, though he would probably still get most of his innings at second base with the way that the roster is currently constructed. But yeah, I would still say, like, right now, if I had to put money on it, Moore's still going to be the starter at second base on opening day. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bliss winds up there before it's all said and done. Are you feeling the same way?
I think, Mastrobuoni, no shot. I think you would want Bliss to be the second baseman. I don't know if there's really a path for him to take that job from Dylan Moore right now. I would say the odds are that Demo is the starting second baseman on opening day. I'd say 80%. That feels about right to me. And Bliss at 20%. I really don't think there's all that much that could happen short of, obviously Dylan getting hurt. that is going to change that up. So I would just be relatively surprised if Bliss won the second base job. But yeah, I think Mastrobuoni is a 0%. I think at this stage, Cole Young hasn't even played the field yet. He's obviously at 0 now. It's just not going to happen for him. Somewhat surprisingly, I would be less surprised if Ben Williamson made the opening day roster than if Cole Young did. Although I don't think Williamson has much of a shot to do that either. So I think it is going to be Bliss. It is going to be Bliss on the bench, and I do think it's going to be Demo as the second baseman, at least to start the year. How long they go with that, I don't know, but I do think Bliss is going to play a little bit early on as well. I think they'll kind of rotate those guys a little bit. No mention of Leo Rivas, interestingly enough. Miles Mastrobuoni's jumped Leo Rivas. Interesting.
He might have.
Not a huge Rivas guy.
When was the last time Rivas played? I can't
feels
remember
like
him playing.
Yeah.
Is he hurt?
I don't think so. But also, don't overlook the possibility of a late spring trade. It won't be for, you're not going to get Nico Horner, but you might get like another Dylan Moore or another Ryan Bliss even, who kind of factors into the equation here. But yeah, I think you want it to be Bliss. I don't think there's much Bliss can do to actually force the Mariners' hand to give him the job and move Demo back to what he's best at.
Yeah. If you guys know when the last time Leo Rivas played this spring, let us know in the comments below.
Honestly, I feel like it might have been yesterday.
Was it? That game wasn't streamed, so I didn't really keep an eye on it. So,
I mean, you also didn't watch the White Sox annihilate the Mariners, so
it's true too.
Good on you.
Yeah,
I didn't either. To be fair, I was out and about all afternoon, but
so it's possible that I just missed it, and he played like 2 days ago or a day ago.
I feel like we would have heard. It does feel like the Mariners are having a surprisingly healthy camp so far. So,
fingers crossed. Knock on wood, et cetera, et cetera. Last question of the day comes from Jamie. Which current free agent do you think the Mariners should consider signing? For the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, how many weeks it's been now in a row? Jose Iglesias. That's my answer. For all the reasons that we just talked about with Jorge Polanco and the infield and all that stuff. Go sign Jose Iglesias right now. Just go do it. He's better than Miles Mastrobuoni at the very least.
I mean...
Or Leo Rivas, whoever is going to make the team.
Yeah. So... a little surprised Whit Merrifield hasn't been signed to a minor league deal. That's Jerry circles back, and we know he's tried to get Merrifield a couple of times. That is not my answer. I'm just saying.
I think the league might be retiring.
I think so too, but I'm just saying, Adam Duvall is kind of interesting as well. Robbie Grossman's still floating around out there.
Cal Raleigh is pinch hitting for Jorge Polanco right now. And he just went yard. Oh my God. You can't make this up.
Oh boy. So Jorge got his 2 at-bats though. So,
but I've never seen a starter pinch hit
in spring. I mean, it's a nice handy way to get both guys at-bats today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, why not give those at-bats?
It'd be so funny if they take him out after this.
You know what? I did see Cal Raleigh on the roster today, and I thought that was kind of weird. Because he wasn't the starting catcher, and there was like 2 other catchers, and I was like, "Why is Cal on the roster?"
They should just take him out after this. Come in, hit a dog. Oh, it was off of Seawald.
Oh,
it was off of Paul. That's so funny. But yeah, they should just take him out after this. Just have him come in, hit a dong, and days over.
You just needed to hit a home run off of Paul, just to let him know, like, yeah, Paul, we see you. We don't miss you at all.
Oh, that is wild.
Watch Canzone go yard. They're going to pinch hit Ryan Bliss just to.
they're gonna call over Josh Rojas from White Sox camp. Anyway, where were we?
So Kyle Finnegan would have been a really interesting one for this, but he is just recently signed. Yeah, I feel like it almost by default is Iglesias. I don't really. Like Alex Verdugo is still out there as well, and Verdugo's fine, but I don't see the fit here. So it does feel like it's Iglesias. I'm a little surprised that nobody has given Whit Merrifield or Nick Senzel a minor league deal as of yet. That's really all they could hope to get. And then, there's Duvall, Grossman, David Peralta. There's some like DH candidates, but it does feel like the Mariners kind of picked Rowdy Tellez over all those guys. Mm-hmm. So, and I doubt JD Martinez is signing a minor league deal. Now, to be fair, Iglesias wouldn't either, but yeah, I think Jose Iglesias is the pretty easy answer here. He fills a need. He pushes people back to where they need to go. He's not going to, the Mets even they ruled out Madrigal for the year, and they still were like, yeah, we're not going to sign Jose. So that door is closed. At least it sure seems like it. So I don't know what Iglesias
I wonder
is
why.
For. I don't know. I don't.
It was such a big part of their clubhouse culture though last year.
But maybe there's something below the surface we didn't see, because it is weird that like they.
It seemed like everyone in that clubhouse loved him.
Yeah. So I don't know, but Iglesias is the answer here. And then there are a few other interesting, but like the only guy I'd give a major league deal to right now, who's still floating around out there, I'd give one to Iglesias. Mm-hmm. And if I could move off of even then I was like, if I had like a DH spot to get, I would consider JD Martinez, but he wasn't great last year, and you kind of want the DH to be more open. It's basically like signing Mitch Haniger, only he's still pretty good.
He's better than Mitch Haniger.
Yeah, offensively, but it's the same like roster construction flaw. So it's Iglesias.
Yeah, Iglesias just makes the most sense. Especially if you're currently planning on running out either Leo Rivas or Miles Mastrobuoni. It's one of your bench guys. Yeah. Iglesias is better than those guys, even if he significantly regresses from where he was last year, which is going to happen. That's absolutely going to happen. He's not going to be a 139 WRC plus hitter with good defense like he was last year, 137, whatever it was. But could he be a 100 WRC plus hitter with pretty good defense and can play, second, short, third? Yeah.
I feel like him and Victor Robles in the same clubhouse. Either that
that's
would
a lot
out
of vibes.
Great. Yeah. That would work out great, or you'd have like two factions, kind of like
too many vibes.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. You put Randy and you put Julio and you put Robles, and then you throw in Iglesias.
There is no such thing as too many vibes.
I don't know. I feel like those four guys, though, if they add Iglesias, that's like the best boy band ever. And boy bands always break up. Keep that in mind. So, yeah. But Iglesias is the answer.
All right. Before we get out of here, Colby, do you want to talk a little bit about Seth Martinez? The Mariners claimed off of waivers yesterday.
Not the reliever I wanted them to claim, but
sure.
It totally makes sense. The Mariners are like trying to corner like the sidearm slinging, relief types who throw like
the
in the
hash slinging slasher.
Kind of. Yeah. Martinez is a multi-inning reliever. He's pitched for the Astros over the last few years. You guys probably recognize him. He's kind of their mop-up guy, but also,
he was you need pretty good in 2022 for the Astros.
Yeah. Look, he's got an uphill battle himself. He's out of options, so he either has to make the team or he's going back on the waiver wire. But I think he's got a shot. He gives you multiple. He gives you, a guy who can go get you 5-6 outs. He has a lot of the traits that the Mariners tend to look for in guys like Legumina, guys like Sewald, where he is kind of a side armor, a true side armor. Might they try and, the fastball up is kind of their go-to whenever they have one of these sidearm guys. The idea usually with a side armor is you want to go sinker, slider, and work down and get ground balls and get guys to chase. The Mariners have kind of turned that a little bit on their head, and they often ask these sidearm guys to like, hey, throw the fastball up in the zone, like at the letters. And it changed Paul Sewald's entire career. They hope they do it again with Legumina, Colin Snyder. They did something pretty similar with. So yeah, these supinators, I believe is the technical term. These side armors, they seem to like to have a couple of these guys around in their camp, and they really think that they can help these guys. And Martinez at least has a major league track record of success. Justin Lawrence was placed on waivers the other day, who is a guy I believe we talked about this winter a little bit as kind of a classic.
We've talked about him a bit over the last couple of years.
Yeah, like he's a side armor. He had a pretty good year with the Rockies in 23, I think. He was awful last year. But yeah, he's a true side armor, and he throws.
It's more
the ball
stuff
very
than production with Lawrence.
Right, and it's just kind of one of those. But he was claimed this morning by the Pirates, and I wonder if the Mariners maybe had interest in that, and they just didn't get the opportunity to sign him.
By the way, if you guys are wondering what's going on with my camera right now, the sun is like hitting it directly, and we're towards the end of the show, so I'm gonna go fix it.
Yeah,
so.
it looks like smoke is filling the room. Hey, you know what? Since you're making waiver claims, guys, go claim Stone Garrett. He actually has options left too. So yeah, no, that's fine. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. So
I have my headphones on.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. It's interesting, right? Martinez, again, he has to make the team. That's not a for sure thing. He's out of options. The Mariners have a handful of dudes in their bullpen who are out of options. So, could they maybe get away with this for a little while? Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Troy Taylor yet. We don't know how far behind he is. But obviously we are 24 days away from opening day, and I don't even think I've seen him throw a bullpen yet. So
no.
Seems like Taylor's probably not going to be ready for opening day. But I mean, with Bizzardo, Bizzardo, you have Martinez who are out of options, Thornton's out of options, Spire's out of options, Vargas is out of options. The Mariners are going to have to make some choices here, and that's why I also wouldn't rule out a trade, because I think Seth Martinez, the role you're kind of hoping is that he's Trent Thornton, but not 2024 Trent Thornton, like 2023 Trent Thornton when he wasn't being asked to cover high leverage innings consistently. I think that's what you're hoping for. So yeah, Martinez is interesting. Again, one of those sidearm slingers, can go 5-6 outs, and we'll see what the Mariners want to do to try and unlock something from him. I assume it has something to do with the elevated fastball though.
All right, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.